Hello and thank you for joining us for another episode of AAHP, otherwise known as Another American History Podcast. My name is Isaiah and I'll be sharing this story with you today. I would first like to apologize if you were hoping to hear from us sooner, as things had gotten off schedule and real life things had came up. If you were waiting for us and you're here now, I would like to thank you for your patience, as your time here is valuable to us and we appreciate having you here. If you're new here, disregard what I just said and welcome to the podcast. Now then, what's the plan for this episode? We'll be continuing with our chronology and discussing everyone's favorite lost colony, Roanoke. Sit back and enjoy the story. Thank you for listening. In the 1580s, England was on the brink of transformation. Under Queen Elizabeth I, England was hoping to demonstrate their naval power to compete with the Spanish conquest of the Americas, to also get in on the massive profit that would be acquired there. To begin this, we start with Sir Walter Raleigh, a charismatic courtier, soldier, and poet. Raleigh was one of Elizabeth's favorites. In 1584, he secured a royal charter to claim and colonize land in the New World on England's behalf, partly to challenge Spanish dominance, partly in search of profit, and partly out of national pride. Raleigh didn't sail to America himself. Instead, he sent expeditions. The first arrived at Roanoke Island, off of the coast of what is now North Carolina. In 1585, the area was home to several native tribes, including the Sacodan and the Croatoan. This first group was led by Sir Richard Grenfield, a nobleman and a commander in the Imperial Army. The settlers included John White, an artist and a cartographer who would later play a much larger role in the story. But the 1585 colony failed. Relations with the native tribes turned hostile after misunderstandings and violence, including the burning of a village over an alleged missing silver cup. Harsh weather, food shortages, and conflict led most of the settlers to abandon the site and return to England with Sir Francis Drake the following year. So what was the purpose in trying again? Because Raleigh was determined to see the mission until the end, he remained convinced that an English colony could succeed, and in 1587 he organized a second attempt. This time, Raleigh wanted a different kind of colony, not just soldiers and adventurers, but settlers, families, builders of a New England and the New World. He named John White the governor of the new colony. White wasn't just a map maker. He was also a talented watercolorist whose drawings of native peoples and American landscapes still survive today. And he had personal reasons to join this voyage. His pregnant daughter, Eleanor Dare, and her husband, Aniasis, were among the colonists. In total, around 115 people, men, women, and children, set sail across the Atlantic. Their destination was supposed to be the Chesapeake Bay, but for reasons that are still debated, possibly poor navigation or secret orders from the ship's captain, they ended up back on Roanoke Island. Soon after their arrival in July 1587, Eleanor gave birth to a daughter, Virginia Dare, the first English born to the Americas. For a brief moment, Roanoke represented possibility, a fragile but hopeful foothold in the New World. But it wouldn't last. The colonists quickly realized that they were ill-equipped for survival. Their supplies were running low, and the local tribes were wary or openly hostile, remembering the violence from 2 years earlier. They urged John White to return to England for help. White was reluctant. Leaving his daughter and newborn granddaughter in a dangerous land was agonizing, I'm sure, but it would be their best hope for rescue. White set sail for England late in 1587, promising to return quickly with supplies, but return not to relief, but to chaos. England was on the brink of invasion by the Spanish Armada. Every ship was seized for national defense. White pleaded for passage but was blocked again and again. It wasn't until 3 years later in 1590 that John White finally returned to Roanoke. What he found was silence. The fort and the dwellings were gone, dismantled, not destroyed. There were no bodies, no graves, just a single word carved into a wooden post, Croatoan, and nearby, the letters C-R-O, or Crow, etched into the tree. There was no cross carved anywhere. White had instructed them to leave a cross if they were in danger or had been forced to leave. White believed the colonists had moved to Croatoan Island, modern-day Hatteras, home to the native tribe they had once been friendly with. But bad weather, ship damage, and the refusal of his crew to continue searching forced White to sail back to England. He never saw his daughter, or Virginia Dare, again. What happened to the Roanoke colonists? There are no definitive answers, but over the centuries, several theories have emerged. The most widely accepted theory is that the colonists were absorbed into nearby native communities, particularly the Croatoan. Later, settlers reported encountering native people with European features, gray eyes, lighter skin, and English-style customs. Some historians believe this theory is supported by oral traditions from local tribes. It's possible that the colonists were killed by hostile tribes, or by Spanish forces moving up from Florida. However, no remains or signs of violence had ever been found. Some suggest the settlers tried to move inland toward the Chesapeake, where they hoped to find better land and friendlier tribes. Without support, they may have starved, been killed, or died from disease. What if Croatoan wasn't a destination, but a clue? Some researchers think it might have been referred to a plan, a person, or something else entirely, something we misinterpreted for centuries. Though the colony had vanished, its story lived on. Virginia Dare became a symbol in American folklore. Some myths claim she was raised by the Croatoan and transformed into a white deer by a sorcerer. Others simply regard her as the lost first daughter of the English America. John White, for his part, returned to England and faded into relative obscurity. His maps and illustrations remain some of the best early European records of Native American life. As for Sir Walter Raleigh, he fell out of favor with the crown, was imprisoned, and eventually executed under King James I. His American colony, once a gleaming hope, became a ghost story. Roanoke remains one of the most enduring mysteries in American history. It's a story without an ending, but one that reminds us of how fragile those early dreams of empire truly were. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of AAHP, otherwise known as Another American History Podcast, and I hope you enjoyed the story we told today. As always here at AAHP, we are always seeking out your feedback and critique, as we are a new podcast and still trying to figure out our format, and we'd love to hear from you. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or Blue Sky under Another American History Podcast, where we'd love to talk with you, hear your thoughts so far, and discuss the future of the show, and share almost daily history facts with you. Again, my name is Isaiah, and it's been great sharing this story with you today. See you next time.